I used to hate tea, and now it's one of my favorite daily rituals. So, before I say anything else about tea, I'm talking about hot tea, not iced tea. I was raised by a Southern mama, and both of my grandmothers were very Southern. And so, I am well versed in how to brew a really good pitcher of sweet tea. However, iced tea versus hot tea are like, they might as well be different beverages. And so this video is about hot tea, not iced tea. That's a whole other thing. If you want me to go into that, just let me know. Again, I've been making really good sweet iced tea for most of my life. I have wanted to be a hot tea drinker, just like I've wanted to journal and I've wanted to paint, and I have never been very good or consistent at either of them. But I tried hot tea so many times, and very few times was it actually good enough for me to want to drink it. Usually it was very bitter, very watery, tasted like dirt. And I did not enjoy it with sugar, with honey, with milk, with lemon. Like I couldn't find a way that I liked it. And I have now learned why. Because most of the tea that I was exposed to was in bags and came in a box. I found that it's actually more like tea dust, and the way that it's processed and the way that it's put into the bag and the way that you make it just makes it gross. It's not good quality. It's not prepared the right way. It's just not going to be that great. So those are all things that I learned after I started this journey a couple of years ago with hot tea. I have been a coffee drinker for most of my adult life. It's not that I love the taste of coffee, I just needed the caffeine for a while, and tea didn't do it for me. So there was one time that really surprised me. I was staying at a casino resort for about 3 days. I got really tired of just constantly being in a ton of air conditioning and offered iced alcoholic drinks. I don't like alcohol. I used to drink it a little bit, and I just never acquired a taste for it, and it makes my body hurt because of some of my health issues. And so when I was at this resort, I was just kind of sitting by myself doing my own thing, and actually one of the bartenders said, if you don't want anything to drink here, there's a coffee shop down the hall and they have really good tea. You should give it a try. So I said, whatever works, I'm gonna be up for a while, I'll go get some tea. So I went down to this little, they had like this little cafe kiosk kind of thing. And I said, just give me your favorite hot tea and make it the way that you like it. And the woman did, and she added just a little bit of honey and a little splash of milk, and it was a green tea variety, and it was delicious. So I had at least 1 cup of tea every night while I was there. And then when I went home, I tried to, recreate that experience, and it did not work. So I just kind of let it go at that point. And whenever I was sick or something like that, I would try again. I would try some more hot tea with some honey. It just never did it for me. So a couple years ago, my sister is a wealth of knowledge, and she tries all the things, and she, enters drawings and things, and she'll try things that she wins and stuff like that. So I don't remember how she got to it, but she got some Plum Deluxe tea, loose leaf tea. And she said, this is really good. I think you'll like it. I'll give you some of the samples. So I took some of the samples home. They were just little tiny packets, made some tea, my very first, loose leaf tea experience. And I was absolutely addicted from the first sip. It was that good. It was so different from any other tea I'd ever had. I learned quickly that the infuser that I had, that I usually use for flour or powdered sugar dusting, this thing, not the greatest for making tea. So if you see these being sold somewhere, they're not the greatest. They're also not the easiest to use. I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. But that is what I was making my tea with, and I said, oh, this is not gonna do it. We've got to do better. So I ordered some of their tea from Plum Deluxe, tried several different flavors. That's one of the things I really love about that company, is that they have lots of sample packs. So you can get all these different types of tea, all the different flavors. Some are herbal, some are caffeinated, and you can really see what you like without having to buy, big packages of expensive tea. So this is one of my favorites from Plum Deluxe. It is the salted caramel black tea. And if you were to look in here, you can see there's all different little pieces of things, and those white pieces, like this one, are actually salt. This tea tastes delicious. If you like salted caramel lattes and frappuccinos and coffee drinks, this one is one that you would love. It does have the caffeine because it is black tea. It's one of my daily favorites. That's why I have a lot of it. I keep this one and creamed mint from Plum Deluxe on hand. And then another one of our favorites from them, any of their Earl Grey flavors. So this is the creme brulee Earl Grey. Again, this one's a black tea. They do have some decaf Earl Grey. Earl Grey was one of the first ones that I found that I really liked. And I'd had, I really love an Earl Grey latte. It's so good. With a little bit of vanilla in the milk, steamed milk. It is so good. But those are some of our favorites. My husband loves Earl Grey, so I get him decaf Earl Grey tea from them. So Plum Deluxe is the first brand that I found that I really liked. And I like their teas for flavor and caffeine. That's what I buy those for. Another really favorite one of theirs, I have an even bigger jar than this in my cabinet, is their vanilla sugar cookie. It's only available during the holidays, so I stocked up because I learned last year that I really loved it. As an evening wind down, truly like a dessert tea, and it's best, in my opinion, with the butter cookies that come in the blue round tin that, our grandmothers always had sewing supplies in or buttons in. Those cookies paired with the vanilla sugar cookie are heaven. I had my travel mug from Brewmate. I had that full of that vanilla sugar cookie and had to take my husband to the hospital last year for a little bit. And I remember sitting there drinking that tea and just feeling so much better, and it just helped me to calm down and gave me something else to think about and to enjoy. One of the nurses actually asked me, she's like, "Are you drinking coffee?" It was 10 o'clock, I think, evening. And I said, "No, it's tea. It's a really good vanilla sugar cookie tea." And she was shocked that that was even a thing. I educated her on, you have to get some of this, and where she could get it. It is delicious as an evening treat. It's just so good. So one of the other reasons that I really like the loose leaf tea is that you can mix and match things together the way that you want them. So what I'm drinking today is the last of my creamed mint from Plum Deluxe. There are also dried elderberries in here that I also get from Plum Deluxe. You can make it into a tea, just elderberry tea, or you can add it to other things. And then I have a little bit of the Good Village Herbal Good and Clear. This is actually for thinning the junk from congestion, helping your lungs a little bit. It has mullein, which if you've read about mullein, it is amazing for lung things, like if you are getting those upper respiratory cruds, which I tend to get a lot. This is great for that. Mullein is what you want for that. If you have a cough from a lot of that, mullein helps with that. She also has chamomile and lots of other really good things in here. So this one's an herbal tea, and this woman, actually an apothecary in Minnesota, I believe. And so hers are more like a medicinal purpose, but they also taste really good. The main flavor profile in this one is mint, because mint is a big piece of this one. That's why it's kind of a greenish color. The mint, the chamomile, you can actually see, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there's the little chamomile flowers in there. And then the mullein, and I want to say there's marshmallow root in this one, I think. You'd have to look it up. And I will have all of these that I'm talking about linked in the notes of this video, so you won't have to go find them. But her tea is more medicinal herbal, but it's also so good. So I've had it in the evenings when I was having some issues with breathing and coughing and just congestion. And then I also mix it in with other things that it tastes good with. So that is another reason why I really like the loose leaf, is because you have a little bit more creativity than you do sometimes with coffee, where it's just coffee. For me, it's the variety of flavors, the way that you can mix and match and make your own blend, the way that it's lower acid usually. Now it depends on the type of tea, but the ones that I tend to drink are lower acid. And the caffeine, again, it depends on how you brew it, how long you brew it, what type of tea it is. I tend to get lower caffeine level teas because when I drink coffee, and I drink it for years and years, when I drink coffee, it makes my stomach upset, it gives me heartburn, and it makes my nervous system go crazy. So I usually have bathroom issues and nervous system issues, and tea doesn't do that to me. So I like that I can control it a little bit more through the brewing process, and also that it just naturally is formulated differently, so the chemicals don't interact with me the same way. So most days, I steep about a tablespoon of loose leaf tea in a high quality infuser. This right here was a birthday gift last year, and it is my favorite mug for my tea. This is my very close second favorite, and it was also a gift last year. My mom found these from Tea Forte, which is, they have all kinds of tea, but the infuser fits into this one all by itself, so it just sits in the lip there. But a good quality infuser. You want these fine mesh infusers for your tea. You do not want this, and you don't want any tight bags. So you can get bags that you can put your own loose leaf tea in if you are traveling or you want to take it with you or give it to somebody. Those are fine, but you don't want like the tea that comes in bags. It's not good. And you want to be able to see like the actual leaves and everything in your tea. Because when you put it in that infuser and you cover it with water, so I like for this one, I will fill my water up to about here so that I just have enough room that I can add my stevia, a little splash of milk, and be able to stir it. Because you need those tea leaves to be able to expand fully in the hot water. It's also not boiling water. You want to take it before it boils, right before it starts to boil, and every tea is different as well. A lot of them will give you instructions. This one actually, the creme brulee Earl Grey says steep in boiling water, 212 degrees for 3 to 5 minutes. So it has those instructions right on the label. But again, it's up to you how you like your tea. So I know the woman that makes these blends from the Good Village, a lot of times when you watch her videos, she uses a large French press and she puts a lot of tea in there. But then she puts plenty of water and she lets it steep for a long time because she likes her tea strong. How I make my tea, I put about a tablespoon of loose leaf in my infuser and then cover it with the hot water. And then I let it steep. Then this is generally 10 to 12, maybe 14 ounces. So that's a lot. It's a big mug. Generally, the practice is 1 teaspoon per person that you're going to have drinking the tea, which is, about 8 ounces of water. So if you're making like a whole pot, you would want 8 ounces. If you compress the tea, it will go bitter. It will be gross because you're you're hurting those leaves. So you want to be very gentle and just let them have some movement in the water by themselves. So you don't want them to be crammed into your infuser either. My husband has a little travel infuser that he uses at work. And I've reminded him, don't overstuff that. You need it to be able to move around in there and not compress those leaves when they expand so that it doesn't turn bitter. You also don't want to forget that your tea is steeping. I always set a timer. I usually steep mine for about 8 minutes unless I want it really strong, or if I'm reusing the tea leaves that I already used that day. So a lot of times in the morning, first thing, I'll make my first cup and I'll let that one steep for about 8 minutes. And then I will reuse that tea in that infuser and I'll steep it for 15 minutes because it's already been used, so it's not as robust. And I'll let it steep for about 15 minutes and then be done with that. I don't use it more than twice. Tried it, but I also like that about tea, that if you want to reuse those tea leaves, there's still plenty of tea in there, plenty of flavor and benefits, even on a second cup. So I really like that about tea as well, that you don't really get with coffee. So once my tea is all brewed, I remove the infuser on its little holder, and then add 2 packets of stevia and a scoop of collagen, and then a splash of half and half, sometimes a couple splashes. It depends on how I'm feeling that day. That is how I like my tea. It's very basic. If I have honey, I prefer honey over stevia, but I generally don't have local honey this time of year. It is January. It is the perfect day for this video, honestly, because it is snowy and extremely cold today. I'm enjoying a second cup of tea today while I talk to you. I love the routine of making tea. It takes a little bit longer. It's more of a process, and I really love that process. And I did not know that tea would become such an important part of my life as a, I believe I started drinking this last year, so when I was about 40. It took me a long time to realize that I just hadn't tried the right tea yet. Finding good ones just took a little while. And then when I did, I didn't want to be without it anymore. So again, it's one of those things that you just keep trying about, your taste buds change, you get older and you change what you like. You learn more, you find more things that taste the way that you want them to, and it changes your opinion on things like that. And this is not life or death. It's tea. It's a beverage. It's not a big deal. If you don't like tea, that's fine. But maybe you learned something from this video. If you don't like tea, maybe you can give it another try. You can try one of the blends that I share in the notes below the video, or send me a message and ask me about it. I probably could tell you some other flavors. I've tried probably about 50 different flavors from Plum Deluxe. And I actually used to keep like a rating chart so that I knew what I wanted to order again. And they do have a lot of seasonal and holiday flavors. So different times of year, check them out and see what kind of sample packets they have going on. Again, you can pick like decaf or caffeinated. And then also from the Good Village, they have really good teas. I'm just getting started with hers, so I'll have to give you more info on that later. But what I have tried is delicious and so beneficial. So I encourage you to give it a try if you have tried tea before. If you like tea and you're looking for new varieties, definitely check these out. I'm just sharing things that I have learned that I enjoy. I'm sharing the process and the journey with you, each of these videos, and if nothing else, maybe it made you smile, maybe it made you feel good, or it taught you one little thing that you didn't know already. So that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give me a subscribe, give me a like, comment down below your opinion of tea, what your favorite is. Maybe you can share something with me that I'll enjoy, or type of tea that I can try. Or maybe you have a favorite mug or a favorite infuser or a way of preparing your tea that you can share with me. So I appreciate you being here, and I hope you have a great day.